Welcome to the Sisterhood Podcast, where faith meets real talk and sisterhood means doing life together. Hosted by Ashley and Megan, this is your space to be seen, heard, and reminded that you don't have to do life or faith alone. We're just two friends chasing Jesus and inviting you into the journey.
Because the road gets sweeter when we walk it together. Whether you're navigating your purpose, building community, or just need a soul refresh, we got you.
So grab your coffee
And pull up a seat at the table.
This is the Sisterhood Podcast. Let's grow in faith together.
Hi, welcome back to the Sisterhood Podcast. We appreciate you taking a break with us last week. Celebrated my birthday and just took some time to breathe and
relax, reset.
Yeah.
We went and had some good coffee.
Yes.
Some really good food.
I had a great waffle. I have talked about that waffle
was
multiple
so good.
times since that.
It looked really good.
Yeah, we went into Tandem and Traveler's Rest, and I got an apple pecan waffle, and it was divine.
And if you get to go over there at this season, they have the gobbler crepe. Am I saying that right? Is it a crepe?
Mhm.
Crepe. And it has turkey and sweet potato and cranberry stuffing, something. Anyways, it was magical.
Yeah, I don't like my food to touch, and so it was like all those things for Thanksgiving in one.
I love that. I like to get all of it in one bite. Like, that's my favorite thing. I get some stuffing, some turkey, big piece of cranberry on there because I love that old school jelly out of the can
that's
cranberry.
Caleb too.
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Caleb.
me and Caleb probably have the same mom. And he doesn't know.
Yeah.
I'll tell him later.
But we do appreciate just being flexible with us. But today's episode is coming from Megan's time outside in her hydrangeas.
Yeah.
And so she's going to share a little bit about that process, and then we'll kind of get going.
I do like how you said that. It came very southern. You're like, and her hydrangeas.
Hydrangeas, you know.
Yes. And we're going to sit at the beauty parlor with our bouffants and talk about our nails and our men.
Men.
No, I'm just kidding. So every year in September, end of September, depends on when it gets cold, you prune back the hydrangeas. We have those limelights, and I begged my husband to be able to plant them. So I have to take care of them because I was like, I will do this thing. So we cleared all the landscaping that was there and we planted these 3. And I was like, we need like 7 on each side. And really we needed 3 because they spread out so big and get so big. Anyways, so I begged for them. I researched them, purchased them. My father-in-law helped me plant them. Seth did too, because he will say he did. And so we have to maintain them. And by we, I mean me. So every year when it starts to get cold, like when we have not the fake fall, but the real fall, you're supposed to prune them back. And a lot of people will prune them like a foot off the ground. And as you get more familiar with them, you can like let certain pieces get a little taller or whatever, but you're supposed to deadhead the whole thing whenever summer is effectively over and we're shifting seasons. So
I would say right now though is the appropriate time because
it feels later, but also I feel like this actual fall's later.
Yeah, we have had a later fall because the trees haven't even started.
No, they're just now
changing.
So pretty.
Yes, I love this.
Yes. Yeah, I actually was taking pictures this morning as I'm driving out the gate, which is very unsafe. I don't recommend, but I was like, I've got to get some footage because we're getting all the colors now. So nice. But you're right. So it's later. Cold, true cold, I guess. But it also feels like we're going right into winter. We're not going to it's going to be a very quick fall.
It's supposed to be really cold next week.
Yeah, I know. So
for all your weather updates,
tune in
to the Sisterhood Podcast.
We're a lot more fun. I mean, I don't know. Chris Jess is pretty fun. I do like
I appreciate that, man.
Yes, he's always, and I feel like 9 out of 10 on point. So thank you, Chris. Anyways, so with this later cold, I've been delaying the pruning of these things because they're massive. When we planted them, they were like 6 inches and like 6 inches tall. And then the first year they probably grew to like 2 feet. And this last year they were probably like 7 or 8 feet. So they get big. It's overwhelming a little bit in the best way because all the flowers are beautiful. So I was out there and I was like, okay, today's the day, unfortunately. And I got out there with my shears and I used my grandpa's shears. So I'm already having this nostalgic whatever because he was such a good gardener. I kill everything. He could make anything live, like probably more than what God intended it to live, honestly. He was so good. So I'm out there pruning and I'm getting frustrated because it's a lot of work and I'm trimming it down and I'm looking down in the root systems and all the, and I don't know what the right term is for the stalks that are beefier, but I call them the heart stalks because they tell you like there's going to be little twig ones that come up and you got to, you know, clip those out because they're taking energy from the big ones, the healthiest ones.
Mhm.
And then you prune back the healthy ones right below like the first, I don't know, nodule. I don't know any of the terminology, okay? But in my mind, this is what I would call it. So right below the nodule that gives it like 2 feet of height or whatever. So you're pruning all these things back. And I remember last year, each one of my hydrangea bushes had like 3 big, like meaty stalks that I was like, okay, that's awesome. And then when I was pruning it back this year, it was like there's like 20 in there. But it was covered by so much of this growth and so much of these little guys that were trying to
Mhm.
steal the energy and steal all of the, I don't know, the nutrition and all the things. So I just had this moment where I was standing there clipping all these things and all of this to say that I was looking down, I was like, man, this is so ugly. Like this down here is not the pretty thing. Like the flowers are the pretty thing. This is like, gosh, this sucks. You know, it
Yeah.
looks bad. But when you know what you're looking for and you know what is not essential and what is taking energy and what is removing function or what is stealing nutrition, and you're able to clip that back, knowing that those beefy stalks, those heart stalks, are going to grow back and triple next year. It just gives you a different sense of who God is
Yeah,
and how He
absolutely.
looks at us. So that's kind of then I sent Ashley this whole like, oh my gosh, this is what we need to talk about, because it was such a moment for me, and I know that we have talked about numerous times where I really wrestle with making everything ultra spiritual because I have a little bit of trauma from people doing that. And so I try not to do that to everything. But right now, I'm in a season where everything is just so spiritual and God is just so alive in everything I'm doing. And so I'm trying to make sure that I approach it in a genuine way,
Yeah.
but also I don't miss it.
Yeah.
So then I was like texting Ashley, I was like, this is so good. And we need to talk about this because just really having the realization of who God is and how He takes care of us and how even in the pruning there is such purpose. And so that's kind of where this episode came from.
Yeah. Well, and I even talked earlier this season about my hydrangeas blooming this summer and how I really had just asked the Lord. I was like, I just need to know that you're hearing me. And I'm never one to be like test God.
Yeah.
But I mean, His scripture
Says
to.
Yeah.
And so I was like, God, if you're hearing me, we just show me something like these hydrangeas will bloom. If I felt like, was it Elijah? Like make the grass wet.
Oh,
the
and the
wool.
sheep's wool dry and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot.
We're going to look that up.
Go
Don't
ahead,
hold us on that,
continue.
but I'll continue.
Yeah.
While she does. But I was just like, let these hydrangeas bloom. If you're hearing from me, if I'm like, these aren't going past my ceiling type deal, or like these are. And they did this summer, and I had beautiful blooms, and I was so thankful. So Gideon.
Elijah. I'm not sure. Maybe there was multiple tests.
It might have been Gideon when he was.
Gideon asked God to make the sheepskin dry, the ground around it wet with dew to confirm his calling.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So same. They were in the Old Testament. They were both prophets.
Yes. Yes. We're on the same page. Samesies.
But yeah, so I was just like, let these bloom just for me to know. And they did. And so I love that for me, it was the bloom. And for you, it's the part that we don't want to discuss. We don't want to go through. We don't want to experience because it is painful and it hurts and it sucks.
Yeah.
And it's a process.
Yes.
But it's so needed for you to see the growth. I've probably had hydrangeas the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I've taken time to.
Well, we're going to prune those hydrangeas.
We're going to
do that.
We
are going to do that. So first, like the first point is kind of the purpose in the pruning, and removing the dead, removing the unhealthy parts, removing the energy stealers, removing, and I guess if we're going to make it personal and spiritual, removing the things that take the peace away, removing the things that And this is not Marie Kondo. We're not saying do not bring joy, because not everything does bring joy that is good for you.
Yeah.
But removing the things that are definitely distractions or pulling you from what God is trying to refine in you or do in you or work in you or call you to. The pruning is so important for that. It just promotes that healthier growth. And let's talk about like what that looks like in our personal lives.
Yeah. So for me in my life with my devotion book that I've been working on, I didn't push it out in like the timing that I thought I was going to. Still working through and reordering it how it's supposed to be. But just in that process, still struggling with my period, which it's been kind of normal the last 2 months. So there's some weirdness with it, but also like, okay, this is supposed to happen. And so seeing different things in my life, and I'm like, but why am I still having to go through this piece or this piece? And so trusting that what he's removing and trimming back and making ready for me is, even though I don't understand it, I'm trusting. Like, how long is this pruning season going to last when I see not everyone else, but I see others around me, God moving and working in their lives. And I'm like, okay, but are we still pruning here? Are we waiting on me? Are we waiting on you?
What part of the process are we in?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not ever going to be revealed, but
no, because if we knew like if God was like, okay, on Thursday, this is when you will have arrived into the spot, then we'd be like, okay, well, how do I get there quicker? Like, okay, well, if that's happening on Thursday, then I don't have to do the work today and tomorrow because I know Thursday's coming.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of God not revealing those things to us is because he knows we would try to make it in our own way, in our own timing. And then we would miss the root work. We would really miss it.
Yeah.
So if we go into John 15, we're all, I think, familiar, but if you're not, it's the I am the vine, you are the branches. He cuts every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes. And that I think is like so important. He prunes so that it will bear even more fruit, that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I've spoken to you. Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself.
Yeah.
Which I think is the other piece that is so critical. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I'm the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing.
Yeah.
So that is the root work that we're talking about in the pruning process. Is a lot of times we think, okay, well, it's bearing fruit, and like I said, those are so many little flower heads on little twigs, and they were beautiful blooms, but they were pulling energy, they were pulling resources, they were pulling nutrients, they were distracting from the heart of this plant. And I've never been passionate about gardening. I'm never going to be passionate about plants. Like I said, I kill everything. So please don't misread this as like I have a green thumb. I do not. They're very black. I have to do a tremendous amount of work to keep these hydrangeas going. But a lot of times we can confuse fruit for success. And that's what I love about God is he said, there are things that will bear fruit that I will cut back. And even more so, the things that are fruitful, I will cut. The ones that are the heart, the ones that are the beefy places, I will cut those back to bear even more fruit. So a lot of times we get to this space where we feel like, hey, we've got it. We've arrived. We're functioning in the success. And then something else gets taken and we're like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I thought this was you, God. And he's like, it's all me. Like, don't get confused. Success is me. And then what you determine to be lack of success, I'm still in it.
Yeah.
I'm still doing the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the process of pruning that we find in John 15. And then there's emotional preparation that happens through the pruning. The mental readiness, whenever we're going through these hard spaces, we get equipped, we pick up more resources, we have better support systems, we put coping skills in place. There are things that are giving us what we're going to need to get. And we've talked about this so much. You're never going to be ready for tomorrow if you don't go through today.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just the truth. And tomorrow can feel delayed. Tomorrow can feel so ridiculously wanting and so much like, when are we going to get there? But if we don't get through today, we won't have the tools and resources that he has for us to pick up to be able to operate in tomorrow.
Well, and I think too, my sister was talking this morning just with like
when we have to have a surgery that's necessary
Mhm.
for us, um, we we almost dread it because we're thinking about, like, the recovery and how painful it's gonna be or
Yeah.
whatever, and then we look at it and we get to the other side of it, and it's like, "Wow, I feel so much better now because I went through this removing of
Mhm.
something that was causing a lot of hurt or pain or whatever." And so we psych ourselves out and we get in our heads about what that process is gonna look like. But in the end and on the other side, it's like it's so much there's more joy and
Yeah.
not to but going into it, but there's more joy, there's more peace, you have more life in you
Yeah.
because the one thing that was draining you
Yeah.
and pulling the good things away is now gone, and
Yeah.
you're able to do all the things that he's called and created you to do. But we get so in our head about what that process is going to look like with the surgery, what the removal, the pruning, all of those things. We get in our head and we're like, but it's going to hurt and it's going to be painful. And I know I've talked about this one on here before. The skit guys, my dad always showed this one, and it's still probably one of my favorites. But it's the one about the potter. And so he's like removing chunks, and he's like, "Ow, ow," and he's like, "I'm just trying, you asked to be more like me."
Mhm.
And so it's God and the person, and God's
Yeah.
like, "You asked to be more like me, and this is not like me, so it has to go." And he's like,
Yeah.
"But can I keep it? Can I hold on to it?" And he's like, "You can, but you're not gonna be like me." And so we get so in our way of becoming all that he's called us and created us to be because of things that we continue to hold on to or we don't wanna let go of because we're scared of
Yeah.
what that process is gonna look
And that
like.
brings us to, like, the next point. This is the painfulness of the pruning.
Mhm.
There is a grief, there
Yeah.
is a sadness associated with letting go of attachments, whether
Mhm.
it's a relationship or a habit or an aspect of identity. There are so many labels
Mhm.
that God wants to remove from all of us. And we hold on to it because it's how we identify or how we determine our success or our fruit
Mhm.
or our calling. And
Yeah.
God's like, none of that actually identifies you. I say who you are, I
Yeah.
say what you are,
Yeah.
and I say where you are, but you've allowed all these things to become, stuck to you. And I want to remove them. It was painful to have a year and a half, 2 years of a career and a label and a title just dissipate
Mhm.
and overnight almost. And there were a lot of red flags leading up to that overnight, but to have that ripped, these are things that we invest our time and our energy to in such an extreme way because all of a sudden it becomes who we are.
Yeah.
And I was Megan. I've always been Megan, but then I became Megan this title, Megan this job, Megan this position, Megan this person for other people,
Yeah.
Megan this calling, Megan this serve, this way she serves in the church. And it was never, God never intended those things to
Yeah.
become our identities. Our identity is only in Christ. But when we lose sight of that, then we start to grapple for any sense of identity.
Mhm.
That's where those habits come from. That's where those relationships come from that God really just wants to kind of strip away because they're taking the energy, they're taking the good feelings, the
Mhm.
peace, they're taking the comfort, they're taking all those things, but we don't even recognize it because it's been a part of us for so long
Yeah.
that we're comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and even watching you go through that and just because I met you right at the beginning
Yeah.
of that. I mean, you were transitioning to that position
Mhm.
and you went from one kind of difficult
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
straight into another one, basically. And it wasn't like that at the beginning, but just seeing, and I don't want to say wear and tear,
Mhm.
but just seeing just almost your joy and the excitement that you had about things kind of be drained and pulled away, and just the stress and the anxiety and just all the things that you were going through. It was one of those things to watch and like be so helpless because there was
Right.
nothing I could literally
No.
offer other than support and
Right.
being there for you.
Right.
Um, but seeing the work that the Lord has done, even in the last
6 months,
Yeah.
7 months
Yeah.
of your life, seeing the joy return, seeing just, yeah, it was ugly underneath, and I don't want to skip ahead, but like seeing just the fruit now show of what you put in, even though to you it might have seemed
Yeah.
fruitless.
Right.
He was doing something in you to be something for someone else.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's evident through the other people that you had a connection with at that job, because they all used you as a
Right.
reference.
Right.
And so she is somebody that I knew I could count on,
Right.
and I can vouch for me, all the things. And so that's a testament to you and to what the Lord did, because he could have allowed, or you could have allowed yourself to stay bitter
Yeah.
and not willing to give or move or do anything, but your heart still softened to see people and love people and want what's best for people,
Right.
even in all the hurt that you experienced.
Yeah. And we got to a place, I was talking to my mom yesterday. This is like a really small side note. Maybe I can make it short. And I was expressing how I felt about the person that pretty much deceived everybody on that roster. And I was like, I just, whatever she has to deal with on the other side of this is heavier and bigger than anything I could ever lay on her. I want for her to have freedom. I want for her to make amends. I want for her to see what she's done and really, uh, acknowledge and seek out forgiveness on some level, even if it's just that she actually means it and that there is true want for forgiveness. But I have forgiven her every day, especially over the last couple months. Thank you, Christine, for forgiving forward. I have to every morning remind myself that I
But
have.
see, even when we did that episode, you were in such
Yeah.
a place where it was like
Nope.
almost like
Yeah.
we're sitting in chairs that have arms, like just kind of
Mhm.
white knuckling. Like,
Yeah.
not that
No.
you didn't want to get to that place, but it was so raw and so real, and it is still very
Yeah.
real and raw.
Mhm.
But what the Lord's done for you in that season and in this season of taking away the things that don't
Right.
produce fruit in your life anymore.
Right.
And it's easier, and she did talk about that, but it's easier to let go, and that because it's for you, it's
Right.
not for them.
Right. And he can hold it better than me.
Absolutely.
It limits me.
Yeah.
But even referencing what we just talked about the today is necessary to be equipped for tomorrow, like navigating your ebbs and flows of your infertility journey and watching you navigate that grief and joy collaboratively, which is still uh I don't know what the right word is, surreal for me, because it is a hard thing to intertwine
Yeah.
those things. And not being able, like you said, not being able to fix it for you, just being there to be support or
Yeah.
a listening ear. Those things, you doing that for me and you navigating this hard for me enabled me to navigate hard with you.
Yeah.
And that's that part of letting God strip away the things that do not and letting him give the resources and the relationships and the tools that do.
Yeah.
And that's, that kind of steps into confronting the unhealthy things and uncovering those deeper issues. Um, Especially the stuff that, like I said, when I got down in there, I was like, oh God, this is like how did y'all make it this season? Like I was looking at the systems of what was going on, and I'm trying to get away all these little tiny nonsense things. And there are weeds in there with massive thorns. And I had many, many thorns in my hands, but because I didn't know that was going to happen. But they were in there trying to really like snuff out the heart. And it was interesting because you can't see any of that stuff. Right.
Yeah.
So all I see is these big, beautiful blooms and these bushes that are like trees now. Like it was so awesome. I don't see any of this stuff trying to get in there, but it's amazing to me that these weeds were not trying to get these blooms.
No.
They were in the heart. They were trying to get into what would actually snuff the plant out, not something that may make the plant look ugly for a minute, not a flower that really didn't matter, but the root of the thing. And it was so ugly and painful.
Well, and we look at plants in general, and we look at the blooms, and we see the beauty in the blooms, and we think that's what makes the plant. But it really is. It's all in the roots. And it's the same with us. We do all of these things to try to make ourselves more beautiful, to put on a mask that everything's good and everything is thriving, but in all reality, our root, our heart
Right.
is being choked out by these
Yeah.
thorns
Right.
that are trying to bring lies, destruction, chaos, confusion, all of these things. And God's like, you're just trying to fix the outside and let people see the blooms, but these blooms are going to die if you don't
Yeah,
let me get in there.
they do not matter. And I think that is what we're talking about confronting. And that it's all based around consuming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we consuming? And it's not just about a healthy diet
Yeah.
or a healthy perspective on what you consume. It can be what you're watching, what you're scrolling, what you're actually eating,
Yeah.
where you're spending your time. These are all consumer pieces.
Yeah.
Who you're spending your time with.
Yeah.
And so these are all things that if we are uncovering the unhealthy things, we have to be very comfortable looking at it in reality.
Yeah.
And not in comfortability.
Well, and also like our fears and insecurities, the things that I'm scared about can hinder
Mm-hmm.
my growth. And if I'm not willing to let the Lord have those fears, or people close to me, if they don't know the things that I'm struggling with and going through, then there's never going to be any light that touches that. And I mean, I've thought about, I've been asked, like, if you never have another child, will you be okay? And I've answered that, and I've answered it honestly. I know that Charlie is enough, but I also know what the Lord's told me, that I will have children. And I've had children in other capacities through foster care, and I still consider them very much a part of our lives, but I know that there's more. And I can't sit here and just question after every negative pregnancy test, yeah, am I never? And so it's one of those things. If you don't let the enemy, would rather you stay in your fear and your insecurity of, well, I can't share this because if I share this, that makes me too real and what I'm going through, and nobody's going to understand. Um, And even and I would tell her this, I did my sister's baby shower this weekend, and I love doing those. I love making it so special for everyone, but there was part of me at the end of the day was like, am I going to get this? Am I going to get to experience this feeling again of
Yeah.
a baby shower? And
That celebration over what life is growing in you.
yes. And it had already kind of been a weird day with my birthday, and my birthday was the day before, and then going into that. And so I was just like, and this might sound very selfish, and so here I am giving a fear and insecurity, but I was just like, I want to be celebrated in the way that I celebrate everybody else.
Yeah.
And the way that I make things special for everybody else. And that sounds super like, look at what I'm doing, all the things that I'm doing, but not in that way. I just want, because, and this is just my personality, but I would give credit back to God on those things. Like it's not anything about me,
Right.
but that fear inside of me, well, what if I never experience this again? Is always just going to be me celebrating everyone else. I was very real. And we're just a few days removed from that. And so and Megan celebrated me well. So like, don't
This
miss
is a
out.
deeper celebration. This is
Yeah.
something, and you do such a good job of, and I don't mean separating like there's a cold factor, but you do a good job because it is a painful thing to navigate somebody finding the f- the result
Yeah.
that you're longing for.
Yeah.
And not just somebody finding that, somebody close to you in a
Yeah.
relationship with you that you are going to celebrate.
Yeah.
You are going to love on them in that way. And then you're just looking at that as it's hard to not look at that and think of what you do not have.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's impossible, really.
well, and I can move past it, and like I said, I can separate it, but at the same time, like that's a very real thing that I go through.
Yeah.
And I could sit here and just say and be mad at God and just be, why do I keep having to go through this season after season?
but I don't know. I can't stay like I can stay like that for a couple days, and then I have to get past it, but just and it's hard, and sorry I'm going so long on this, but it's hard around this time of the year too,
That's what I was
because
just about to say.
like this time last year,
Yeah.
we were getting the girls again, found out I was pregnant again. Like both of my significant like miscarriages have been
Holiday.
this
Mhm.
Thanksgiving, Christmas time. Well, really Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
because I had my ectopic one, and then the one last year was at this
And I was
time.
just talking to my mom about this yesterday. Again, these are never coincidental things, but I have words. She was talking about she's trying to figure out Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
and she's like, I just feel Megan, I just feel blah. Like I just can't. I don't know. It's like nothing really is hitting me. I don't really want to go anywhere, but I don't want to be here. And I said, well, Mom, your body keeps score.
Yeah.
Your body remembers this season.
Mhm.
And your body
Yeah.
remembers. So even if you were doing everything right, Ashley, and you were living on
Yeah.
the highest life of your life, the highest time of your life, even if you were to, your body would bring you to remembrance.
Yeah.
It's amazing what God has done, and it is a protective measure too, because we don't always realize it until we realize it. Like even as I'm sitting here with you right now, I'm like, man, like we're 2 weeks removed from last year.
Yeah.
Like that was heavy, hard, big loss.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, I found out on your birthday
Yeah.
last year. It was like, and so, and normally I'm a put your Christmas tree up after Halloween, and which my house is in the midst of a
It's looking so good.
remodel. My dad came in and
Yes, I do need him to come to my house soon. Very first. Continue.
but so he's doing that. So I'm waiting to put up my tree until I get the wall painted again, because I didn't want to have to
The
move
post
it.
construction.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, but there's part of like where I should be in like that hurry, like let's get this done so I can get my tree up. There's part of me that has had hesitation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to, because my tree and that I love that, because that just brings joy. But y'all are probably getting a completely different.
No,
but
I mean, it's good though, because it is truth. And I think, especially as we approach the holidays, there's a lot of people that navigate heaviness like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't know what to call it. And we're like, I don't know why I feel this way. But if we think long enough, we know why we feel this way. It's just God does such a good job of protecting us, but also the body, it's wild. It's so cool, but it's horrible.
Yeah.
Because your body does keep score.
Mhm.
And it does remember this season, and it remembers what it was navigating last year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and that gets to the next point too. Once you've pruned and cut away all those pieces, it's the immediate aftermath. You're like, wow, this is bare and I don't want to say skimpy and short, but like,
Oh, you should see my bushes right now. They look horrible. Like, okay, when I say they look, all you see is sticks.
Yeah.
And they're short, stumpy sticks. And you're like, what could this? In fact, if you didn't know, like God knows, and like I know because I planted those. If you didn't know, you probably think that's dead. We got to rip it out.
Yeah.
And that's so kind of cool though.
Yeah.
Like anybody could look at what you're navigating and be like, well, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But God doesn't see it that
Yeah.
way. He looks at it and he sees life, and he sees promises fulfilled, and he sees yes and amen. And like when I look at the hydrangea bushes right now, I'm like, yeah, they look really sad, but I know next year
they look exposed. They look vulnerable to the aftermath. I don't want to say the plant, but as a human being, we can feel worthless and confused, because you're like, there's all these. Yeah, I'm just here. I'm naked. There's nothing to cover. What was really going on.
And there's the visible damage, and that's how we see things. We see things so physically. So we see the visible damage, the tears, the loss, the without.
Yeah.
And then there's the struggle after, in light of that, there's the struggle to understand the why, like you're talking about, that we've just navigated. Like, God, why am I still in today? When is tomorrow coming?
Yeah.
When do I get to experience tomorrow? And seeking those answers and having the patience that it takes to navigate that is is not in the flesh.
Yeah.
It's not something that we're comfortable doing because we want it now.
Yeah.
And then there's an isolation and a loneliness that comes with that feeling.
Mhm.
And how important it is in this, exposure and in this root work and in all of it to have that community and have that support system in place.
Mhm.
Because otherwise we would disconnect, we would isolate.
Yeah.
Because not only, nobody wants to be vulnerable. Like we've talked about you softening me, and nobody wants that. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not something that we're taught to do. We're taught to be strong, to look our best, to put on a brave face, to suck it up. We're not taught to be like, expose yourself. When I say that, like don't expose yourself. Can we clip that out?
No.
Okay. we're talking about, being vulnerable and being honest and honest, not transparent, honest with where you're at. That's not something we're raised to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, the struggle to understand, there's an emotional struggle of seeking the answers, in the healing process. And I think that what you had said early on, we're never going to get those answers.
Mm.
We're never going to understand the timeline and the why in the journey. Thankfully, he sees it.
Yeah.
He does. And he's mapped it.
Yeah.
So we don't have to.
Well, and after the struggle, we can either sit in restlessness and anxiety of the discomfort of the waiting, or we can just begin trusting and begin pulling in the nutrients that are around you. Because even what we see on the surface with the plant looking so dry and just barren,
Yeah.
there's work that's again happening underneath.
Yeah.
And so
Trusting the process.
yes, so we can not highlight, we can lean into the discomfort and the weight and see that there's purpose in it, or we can rush back into things and try to put some fake plants. Like Megan has real plants outside of her house. I've got fake.
I don't know, but those look real
picks.
good.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna get those next year.
yeah, so I've got like fake mom
Mums.
plants
Yeah. But let's be honest, who can keep moms alive?
Yeah, I know. Caleb just got me some for my birthday, and I'm like, Lord, help me make these last.
I can't. I cannot.
So
Yeah, moms are they're doomed from the beginning with me. I cannot handle them.
yeah, they're so pretty right now.
Aww.
Which they're inside the house, so I'm hoping
Oh,
if
that
I
probably
just
better.
water them and
Yeah, don't let them get dry.
Yeah.
In the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to your point, not rushing
yeah,
to get to the next fruit space, but really sitting in the process and sitting in what God is doing and what God is working
Mhm.
and cultivating in that. And really fully processing the loss of what has been pruned and stripped
Yeah.
away. Because then we can reflect and identify, how did that get there in the first place?
Mhm.
What am I not leaning into with God? What am I not, again, consuming that
Yeah.
I need to be?
Yeah.
And then we hopefully start to consume the right things in this healing process.
Yeah. So that when it comes time again, we can bear fruit.
Yeah.
Because that is the promise of the pruning, that
Yeah.
there is new life to come. We can stay, we can not pull anything during our time. And that can be evident. You saw that with the fig tree that
Mhm.
Jesus cursed. You can pull and look like you're supposed to be producing, but you didn't do anything during that season
Mhm.
of waiting, because there's still something that is required from us of drawing closer, of seeking out, and in our sense, seeking the Lord, drawing from Him, surrounding ourselves with others who have either gone through a similar pruning season themselves or are in that season of life where we can see and know that God is faithful to answer. So we can see that, or we can stay, but there is hope that comes after pain.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm still, I guess, in the the hope part of it, but there is the promise of something coming from this season. And it hasn't all been painful, and I want to reiterate that, but there is hope, and I do have hope in that.
But if we sit, to your point, and we dwell in all of that, as long as we're leaning into God and allowing him to work in that, and we start to, in effect, consume in a self-care mentality the things that are going to bring the nutrients, going to bring the peace, going to bring the joy, going to sow and give us the support system and the community that we need. All of those things coming together, that fruit that we're desiring is inevitable.
Yeah.
And now timeline, again, that's one of those things where God, you said you're in a season of hope, but while you're in this season of hope, you are still consuming according to what God wants you to consume. And you're surrounding yourself with that circle and that support and that community. So you're setting all of those things in place for the fruit to come.
Yeah. Well, and the fruit that we think that, so for me, for my example, what I hope comes obviously is a pregnancy and a healthy baby. But the things that the Lord may be trying to grow in me and produce in me, that the fruit that is shown is maybe patience, maybe joy in other things, but the fruit of the Spirit, seeing those things come forth and being evident in my life, and not just the thing that I consider fruit.
Right. Your success.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is kind of where we find ourselves when we're nurturing things and we're getting things ready. Sometimes we're doing it aligned with our purpose and our destination. And God has so many destinations in mind along the way. And so there's so many tools and things he's gifting to us if we pick them up and if we make sure we don't miss it. And the only way we don't miss it is if we're doing that self-care piece of consuming what he says about us, consuming who he calls us, consuming where he leads us, and surrounding ourselves in those moments as well.
Well, and I think that's like the season that you're in too right now, where you're seeing that growth and the things that happened in the hard season during that pruning season. Cause I think you're out of the pruning season. It may be still a little bit in there, but I think you're in that time of where the nurturing of the soul is coming into play, where you're pulling in the things that, because you're saying you don't want to over spiritualize, but God's just dumping.
Yes, it feels like that in the best way.
Yeah, literally just dumping his word and how he sees your life in this process literally in your lap, so that it's something that you can see, you literally can relate to it, and then you can share it. And so I don't want, I want to share, like, say that to you, because I don't want you to sit here and think, well, I'm still in this, because you see the life, you see the things that are, well, I see, you may not, but I see the things that are happening, the growth that is happening, where you're pulling and you're receiving from the Lord in ways that maybe not have been before.
For sure.
And
For sure. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that it's hard to see when you're in it. And so that's why it's important who you surround yourself with. Because if I just surround myself with anybody who was navigating the lowest lows, and when I say that, and didn't know where to lean into, so that's just easier to be pulled off the table than to pull someone on the table with you. So it's so important. And God has used you in such a big way for me, where even just now when you're speaking, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I do feel that. I mean, I still feel like there's some pruning, like there's some painful places, but I definitely feel like the journey of the last couple years, and I know I keep saying I don't want to over spiritualize everything, but God is dumping on all the good, and I don't mean it's like, oh, I'm just Joel Osteen in my life right now. That is not it. That is not the message.
Yeah.
It is just his words and his just revelations of who he is and what he's doing. And just the way he uses everything to speak to me so personally is where I'm at, which is it's so cool.
Him being faithful to you.
Yeah.
Where you thought that, well, I can't say that you thought, maybe,
but
where you thought that he wasn't seeing you or hearing you.
Absolutely.
Or speaking.
No, 500%.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. So I think the journey from pain to growth and the pruning and the uncomfortable and all of that is so essential for the flourishing of what God is doing and the fruit that is. And I emphasize the word inevitable, because if we are doing the things and we're aligned with him, his word promises that. So it is not inevitable because Megan hath said it so. It is because God said it will come. It will happen.
Yeah.
And even more so, when you bear the fruit, I will cut that fruit back. So you will have even more fruit. So it is not possible, probable, hopeful. It is inevitable
Yeah.
that fruit will come.
And if you're in a pruning season yourself, we do want to encourage you to trust the process. Don't look at the process as something negative, because it's easy to do that. Look at it as, and I don't. The Bachelorette and the Bachelor have ruined me of this word, but look at the the journey.
Well,
Like,
Alexis has made that word for me, so we'll love this journey for you.
yes, and so don't look at it as yes, it's painful and it's going to hurt and it's going to require a lot of things, but there is beauty to come in time, and you can either stay stuck in the process, stuck in the pruning, or if you again, going back to the skit, guys, the more willing he was to release the thing that he was trying to hold on to, it still hurt, but he got through it a lot quicker because he was surrendering those pieces over to God. And so those things in your life that you're not wanting to surrender just yet because, well, maybe I'm going to need this. What he removes from us, he's going to put back into place what we truly do need. The other things that we had just, I need this, was the thing that was pulling us away. And it may have been good things. And we talked about that. Serving here, doing this, those are good things. But if it is draining the life out of you, then if he removes that, don't try to attach it back on and say, but this is pretty and it looks good, and it, like, allow him to be truly solely responsible in that process, and don't try to dictate what he can and can't remove. Trust the process, and then in the end the beauty will come.
Pruning is not the destination. So I think, like you said, it is the journey. So if the destination is purposeful and it's where God is leading you, then all of that will be worth it. And again, keeping your eye on the purpose and not on the pruning, but trusting the process and who created it and who is working that process in you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that's all we have for today. And I'm going to pray us out. And we just hope that you find purpose in the process and that you lean into God and you begin to strip away the things that are taking and begin consuming the things that give life and hope and joy in this season. We know it's a rough season for everybody. It's even if it's a happy time, it is a lot.
Yes, it is.
Holidays are a lot. So I'm going to pray us out. God, I just thank you so much for this episode, and I thank you for who you are, and I thank you that you bring purpose to all of the pain and all of the heartache, God, and that you are always working and your hands are always in it, God, and that you are the ultimate source. So I pray that we would lean into you fully, God, that we would not become overwhelmed by the journey that we are navigating, but know that you have a purpose and you have fruit inevitably promised at the end, as long as our hearts are aligned with yours, God. Give us ways and tools to align ourselves, God, your word, that we would just consume it fully and that we would lean into you. Lord, we thank you. We thank you for this season. Give everyone rest and peace and joy. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And if you're looking for community, we have Friendsgiving coming up on November 18th. We will be posting details on our social media, so be sure you're following us there. But if you're looking for a way to connect, again, we're in Easley, so we try to do things
Localized.
in Easley, local. So we would love for you to come and spend Friendsgiving with us. We're going to have a great time.
But also, if you're looking for community and you're not local to Easley, reach out to us. We will connect you. We've got networks of people all over the place that are in community and walking and doing life together. So please don't let that be the hurdle to you finding community.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye. Hey, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. We love getting to spend time with you, and we hope you love spending time with us.
Yes, and if you enjoyed it, we want you to go to Spotify, Apple, ever you listen, and please give us a
like, a thumbs up, a rating,
Yes.
because this helps get it out to more people so that more people can hear about Jesus and how amazing he is. It's not anything for us. It's just so people know his goodness.
Yeah, it helps us to be able to do more, to reach more. So hit those stars, hit those likes, leave a review. Tell us what you enjoyed. Tell us what you want more of. We want to hear from you. And as always, thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week.